Well, it didn't bother me because I've gotten used to it all those years that I was going, and I just went in, washed my face, and changed my shirt and tie.
All righty. Call the meeting to order. Welcome to City of Hagerstown Planning Commission meeting of February the 9th. With me today on the commission, I have Chris Davis, who is with us via Zoom, as well as Genie Wheeler via Zoom. And in the room with me on commission is Ron Thomas to my immediate right. Charlie McIntyre, our council representative, will be absent. And I know Jim Stone has said he was coming.
He just joined on Zoom.
Pardon?
He just joined on Zoom.
He's just came in on Zoom?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm here.
Yeah. All right. Good. And Tamara Martinez, do we know, is she coming with Zoom or?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she's gonna be here or not.
Okay, well, anyway, we have a majority, so we can get started. Also in the room with me is, with us, is Steve Bockmiller, the development planner and zoning administrator for the City of Hagerstown, Megan Flick, who is the planner for the City of Hagerstown, and Amy Hawk, administrative assistant. Is Kathy going to be joining us, or she?
Yeah, she's on board duty. She'll be out.
Okay. Hopefully, certainly we'll be joined by Kathy Marr, Director of PCAD. That concludes our roll call. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from the meeting of January the 26th, which you hopefully got in your packet.
Believe it or not, I didn't find anything
Okay.
that needed to be corrected, amended, or questioned.
Come on, try again.
Anybody else have any comments on the minutes? Then I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, I don't think they hear you.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Would one of you want to give a second to the motion?
I wasn't I here. I can't. think Jim, yeah.
Was that a yes? One of you all said yes?
No, Jim, I don't think Chris. or
Oh,
I
you
were
weren't there. That's right.
Okay, I'll
I need
second.
Jim, I need you to say second.
I can second.
You seconded, okay. Motion made by Ron Thomas, second by Jim Stone. After a lot of coercing, is there any additional discussion on the motion? You ready to vote? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? And abstaining.
Abstain.
All right, that was both Chris and Judy abstaining. Thank you. Now, is the applicant ready for 227 East Washington Street?
Yeah, he's signed on Zoom.
Hello, Pastor Zach here.
Hi, Pastor.
Thank you, sir.
Steve? You want
Yes, this
to?
is a renewal, fourth renewal for the site plan for City Chapel Tent Church SA case 2019-03. We provided you copies in the second email mail out. We added this to the agenda after the initial agenda went out. But we provided you copies of the approved site plan. So it's been approved and reapproved by this board 3 times. It's all been based on certain specific timeframes. The next timeframe is up on February 12th. Therefore, they're seeking a renewal
And how long was that renewal again for?
for as long as you choose to make it. I think it's varied. I think you've done 60 days. I think you've done, I mean, not 60 days, 6 months. And I think you've done years, if I remember correctly. I don't think.
I don't think we've done any,
No,
I
I
don't think
think
we've done
we've-
anything beyond 180 days.
I think
That's
it's been,
correct.
and that's prescribed by the ordinance, I
Yeah.
believe.
I believe, yeah.
We go the limit as long as the ordinance will let us.
Latest extension, all right, January 21. January 21 of 21, it was set to expire in August. 180-day extension was granted July 23rd of 2021. So it looks like we're operating on a 6-month basis, yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I had it in my head that it was. might have
No.
been different
Yeah.
time periods. Okay.
You know, and I think in our hearts, we would like the board to go longer, but we're following the ordinance.
That's right.
So then, any questions of Steve? The extension for 180 days. Hearing none? Would anyone like to make a motion?
This is Chris. I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second, Judy.
All right, Judy seconds,
That's for 180 days.
180 days.
Yes.
We clear on the motion?
Yep.
We ready to vote? All's in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none opposed, it passes unanimously. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, then, the next thing we have is a workshop on the Genie Commons subdivision.
Okay, I'm just gonna put the site drawing up on the screen. It can be viewed by those watching on Zoom and YouTube. We had a meeting last week with the property owner and potential developers of the Virginia Commons property. They're proposing a single-family home subdivision. We're anticipating to receiving the annexation petition very soon, within the month. But the meeting was basically to kind of go over the general layout of the subdivision, and it was thought that it would be good for them to workshop with you this overall layout and get some feedback before they move on to an actual official subdivision sketch plan. The plan calls for 368 total single-family dwellings, of which 303 will be front-loaded product, and the other 65 would be rear-loaded product. And this is quite a huge development. The property is quite large number of singles. It would be developed under the cluster provision of the subdivision ordinance in the RMOD zoning district, which this property would be annexed in under. The minimum lot area for a single-family home is 7,500 square feet. The front-loaded products come in roughly around 7,200 square feet, so they're a little bit smaller than what the ordinance would otherwise minimally require. And for everybody's awareness, the cluster subdivision is where they're allowed to create lots that are smaller than the minimum required for the district, as long as there's a 1-for-1 offset of programmable open space provided. And so basically, each of the 303 singles would have about 300 square feet of open space that would be required at least. And then the traditional design, the rear loaded products, the 65 units, they come in at about 5,400 square feet a piece, I believe, roughly. They'll vary depending on the lot configuration. And they would need to then offset their amounts below 7,500 square feet into the open space. The amount of open space that's provided here does more than address that. So their total square footage of open space does seem workable. As far as looking at the overall design, there's 4 points of access. One will be on Marion Street, one will be on Oak Ridge Drive, one will be on Moeller Avenue, an extension of Moeller Avenue, and then there will be a boulevarded entrance off of Virginia Avenue that goes to a traffic circle. As far as the general layout, staff really doesn't have any concerns, except for one. There's some places where we think that the needs to be some minor reconfiguration of some of the houses that are fronting the open space, where you see the oh, and let me back up for a second. There's a significant amount of the rear load product that actually would take advantage of the pending text amendment that allows lots to be developed where they're not fronting on a public street. Their frontage would be on an alley and they would be facing into the open space. And we'd like to commend them for that because I figured it's something that would be kind of used here and there in the development, but they're taking full advantage of it. We think that's a good idea. The one drawback to that is, if you notice right across that rather narrow open space is the backs of houses. And we advise them, we think that they need to be reconfigured to where houses on the east side of that open space face into the open space, because that is pretty narrow. And what you would have is the houses that are fronting on the open space. They're going to be looking at the back sides of sheds and the stuff that's in people's backyards.
Megan, can you show where that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that?
Could Megan
Where is
show
it?
where that is?
Yeah. If you- These houses in here, the 10 houses we have concern with are these two, these three, and then these two down here, because they blocked off the streetscape and the view going up through that open space. So we think it could be reconfigured without them losing units. That might end up resulting in maybe these units being turned into rear loaded, facing in there, and then having their driveways onto these short road stuff here. We don't want to design for them. We're just kind of throwing some suggestions for them to look at. Ultimately, it's up to them to come up with something. But staff has a concern that where the fingertips are on the cursor on this hand is the back property line of those houses, which means somebody could, the typical stuff that you're gonna have in a backyard is going to be literally about 30 feet from the front doors. 40 feet from the front doors of the houses on the other side of the open space. And we think that needs to be reconfigured to where houses are facing into the open space here. But in general, looks like a great layout. With that, turn it over to Fred.
Steve, one question. You said there were 3 entrances, one off of Oak Ridge and one off of Virginia Avenue. Where was the third one?
There's 4 entrances actually. One, there's going to be a boulevarded entrance here, Virginia Commons Boulevard. It's off of Virginia Avenue.
Right.
Then you have the extension of Moeller Avenue here.
Oh, okay.
And then you have the extension of Marion Street here.
Okay, those are the 2 I missed.
Okay, and then
All
you go out to Oak Ridge Drive here.
Okay,
And also, what will most likely end up happening is this section of this road will be renamed something other than Moeller, because what's going to happen is you don't want to have an intersection of Moeller and Marion here and a next intersection of Moeller and Marion here. 911 is not going to like that.
right.
So this will be a continuation of Moeller up to the traffic circle, and then there'll probably be another street name assigned to this road here.
And the other question is, in the 2 drawings, one looks like it has a fountain or a pool or something.
Yeah, basically you have 2 options, A and B, and the only real difference between them is one is a proposed pavilion and plaza, whereas the other one is actually a community center with a pool.
Okay,
Other than that, those are the only differences between the 2 concepts.
okay.
Steve, I have a question.
Yeah,
The area that's sort of and lightly shaded, it's called Phase 1 development under agency review. Didn't that come before us a few months ago?
yeah.
And do we approve that layout?
You approved the sketch plan. The development plan is currently under review and should be coming to you shortly.
Okay, so what I meant is that the prospective connection of what is labeled as Moeller Avenue onto the existing area, that is in fact already provided for.
I'm sorry, what was the last part of that?
Well, in other words, we already have provided for the extension into the Phase 1 area. That's already.
Yes,
we've
actually,
already-
those rights of way are actually already have been recorded and have been for probably 60 years. The development plan and the sketch plan basically just carve what's not the existing street right away into lots. But those rights of way actually, this right away here,
Right.
this right away here already exists in the land records.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We talked about that. Okay.
All right.
Mr. Fredericks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ron, members of the planning commission and staff. As Steve alluded to very well, I'll take my mic. And I'll take the mouse. As Steve alluded to, we met with the planning staff and Doug was at that meeting. And Ron sat in the back, so Ron had already seen some of it too. And so we already reviewed this with the planning staff, and we're here early because we know there's changes coming on the neo-traditional, the alley requirement. And so we wanted to get this before you now because we are really ready to start engineering on this. And so we wanted your blessing on the general layout. We know that we're not getting any kind of approval today, but what you see here today is what we plan on engineering towards and refining it a little bit. Like Steve pointed out, there's 10 lots that the backyards will be, the front yards of the neo-traditional will be looking right into the backyards of 10 homes. So we're gonna massage that. We thought about maybe losing 2 of the toughest ones, and then we'll work with staff on, coming up with something that either is a great visual landscape that breaks it up, or we really don't have much room to relocate them anywhere else. You can see by that plan, there's not a lot of room to relocate anything, and we don't want to lose any open space. We have a walking trail around the property, as I hope everybody from home, can they see this on their computer? So you can see the walking trails, the stormwater, the forestation that we're going to keep, and we're also going to plant forestation along the backs of existing homes that are on Oak Ridge Drive and along the railroad property, which is on the east side of our property. There's no railroad tracks there. The railroad tracks are much further to the east over along the Downsville Pike, but there's that big, right now it's farm, but it's owned by the railroad company, and who knows what's going to go in there in the future. So we're going to buffer that with forestation as part of our forestation compliance. The most important thing is the neo-traditional. Again, that's something new to us. We know it's coming, and so we wanted the planning staff and commission to look at this plan, make sure that you're good with the layout, because as I said, we're ready to start engineering on this, and we don't want to get heavily invested in this and finding out that it's not what you wanted. So that's the main purpose of being here today, to have you look at this and say, yes, this is one of the first ones that I think you're seeing with the neo-traditional. We are working with a national home builder, one that's going to be new to Hagerstown. It's Lennar Homes, and they do this kind of product, all over the United States. They're headquartered in Colorado, but they have a lot of development in Northern Virginia. And so this is their first venture into Washington County. So we're looking forward to the product that they're going to bring here. One of the things that Ron pointed out is that when you come in the boulevard, you're going to be looking at a circle. We want it to be a nice visual entrance. And right across from the circle is going to be either a pavilion that's going to be in that big open space greenway that some of the neo-traditional homes will front on. Their access will be rear loaded on all of those homes, the 65 homes in orange. And we may go with a swimming pool. Now, why is a may? What we don't know from Lennar yet is what is the cost of the product and then the addition of the swimming pool, and can they amortize that through the HOA that it will be affordable? So if the HOA's numbers come in too high with the swimming pool, they may not do the swimming pool and community center. They may just go with a big pavilion, but they're hoping that they can do the community center and a swimming pool. And when they do that, right now, phase 1, which is in. It's under review. It's going to be coming before you soon. It's going through all the reviews right now. It's for 39 single-family homes. You see that up in the northeastern corner there. They will have the option, even though they're going to be called Virginia Commons Phase 1, they will have the option of joining this HOA or not joining it. They're not going to make them join it since they're coming first. Those HOA docs aren't prepared yet. They just started working on them today. We were on a conference call. Stephen Frandy and Don Unger and I were on a call with Lennar, and they said they're going to start on those HOA docs and see if they're going to, they probably aren't going to make the 39 lots come in. They're going to give them the option, which is probably a better fit anyhow. That way, these 365 lots, is that the right number?
Hey,
368, well, it'll probably be 366 till we're done. They will be all part of the HOA. They will all be the Virginia Commons Phase 2 and 3 of this project right here. So again, the main focus is the layout. Does it meet what staff is thinking of and what the planning commission wants to see? And our feedback so far from staff has been positive, and we hope you like it too and can basically give us the nod to proceed with this layout.
And staff did a deep dive into Lennar's web presence, and they do really nice work.
Mhm.
So then in front of us today is a head nod to the developer that they're on the right course and we would support something close to this when it comes around to sketch plans and final plans, et cetera.
That's correct. Something unique about this property is it is huge. It's a lot bigger than any individual subdivision or most individual subdivisions you're likely to see. So given that factor, we think that this mix is a good mix. It puts both products into the market without trying to saturate the rear load thing. If this was a 100-lot subdivision, we might be having a different conversation, but given the size and the massive scale of it, we think this is a good mix that will fit into the market.
Well, personally, I'm tickled to see some of these backloaded lots. And I think it's going to introduce this product into Washington County. I think my limited experience will be successful. I certainly hope so. I think there are particularly younger folks who are looking for first-time homes or going to the second home. This will be very attractive to them. So I appreciate that the engineering and the developer coming forward with this product. And I think it's going to be opening the way up for seeing more of this product, not only in Hagerstown, but in Washington County in the future.
Steve, I can't,
Pardon me?
I'm having trouble reading on this. What is the total acreage of the site?
115 acres.
Okay, thank you.
And as Steve had already mentioned, it is currently in the county, and probably in March, I think by the end of March, is our goal for us to get all of our work done to be able to submit the annexation. So we see the annexation coming in March, and then our product, our first submittal, a few months after that. And the goal is probably full annexation by September-ish, or whatever the normal procedure is. We're not asking for anything to be rushed at all. But when we look at the 6 months out, it was like September, maybe October. Oh, perfect. That's perfect. So I think the schedule just comes together great for us.
And we would be looking at the staff level to help it along by compressing some of the review, get some of the like sketch work and stuff done as the annexation is going through, overlapping. I'd say compress,
Yes.
but overlapping some of it so we can move it along for them as quickly as the circumstances will allow.
You had mentioned that you were probably going to anticipate removing at least, well, a minimum of 3 lots,
Two, I said two.
just 2.
You want to see them?
I'm looking at them, it's
It's probably going to be
the ones that are,
the closest one, this one. You see how close, that was the concern.
they're down at the bottom there.
No, it's really right here.
Oh, wait a minute now, I'm looking at the wrong ones there.
Here's the closest corners. You see these corners to that sidewalk? That's where it's really tight. That's tight right there. These two are really tight. And the concern is these houses are looking right into the backs of these lots. And if we would eliminate that and that, and gives us that much more greenway around there, and then these others, we're gonna see what we can. Sorry.
Can that area be magnified?
You want your mouse back?
Yeah, would you put the mouse over? Because I'm not sure
I
which.
was looking at, we're down at the bottom.
Yeah, no, it's, the
If you look
closest
down at the
ones are
bottom-
really right here and here. Do you see those property lines, Ron? And you see the sidewalk? They're right off the sidewalk.
Wrong way.
The ones I was looking at are down at the bottom there.
You're looking at
Like
these
those
two?
3 there, yes.
Yeah, there's two down here, then there were. We'll get settled here. These are the two that we're looking at getting rid of. And then there was, there was these two at the bottom that we're gonna just see if we can't, do maybe another forest park here or something to really break this up. We can't move them anywhere. So we're going to see what we can do about really landscaping this in the open space heavily to break it up. And then the others were, I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that right, Steve? It wasn't these side ones. It was these 3, these 3, these 2, and these 2.
Okay, I had the other 3, just the last group you just marked. You said the 2 at the bottom there.
It was 2 here.
The 3.
There's 2 here.
Side.
For those who are watching from home, I'm moving the cursor over the 2. That was a concern because it cuts off visibility from the streetscape up through that open space area. What we're finding is the models that we've looked at in creating these regs, we're not afraid of narrow open spaces and having back, but typically there's street visibility, and also if they're narrow, the fronts really ought to face the fronts. For example, the model that we saw up at Mechanicsburg, that 3 trees court where you had that long, narrow open space lot and you had houses kind of facing into it on each side. So what was a concern was these 6 units here, all having their backyards right up in prime visibility of the fronts of these houses here. And then these 2 lots here. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we think it can be reconfigured where they can get back most, if not all of those.
All right, I want to give Ron another chance. He's talking about, go ahead, Ron, do it again.
He was talking about these 2.
No,
The ones on the other side of that.
The other side of the walking trail.
Other side of the walking trail.
Yes.
Yes, if you look at that last one up against the alley, I guess that is, or whatever, that one, the yard is cut off. If you look at
Let's keep in mind one thing, that this is just a generalized sketch. It's at the 30,000 foot level of a very large property. A lot of this stuff is going to move around and get adjusted a bit as they go into their sketch plan and come up with something more definitive. So let's just be
We're looking at
aware of that.
concept.
yeah.
We're dealing with a
Right.
generalized concept.
Well, I just wanted to bring it to your attention. If I were looking at that, I would be concerned at least by that one and maybe all 3 of those. I'm not sure how you're going to lay it out, but at least that one that has the backyard cut off.
We'll look at that again, as Steve pointed out. This is a concept. It may be that we come back and we just do this product all the way down through here. Yeah, this is right along the street, so maybe we just continue this down, get rid of those 2 and pick up 3 or 4, pick up 2.
Yeah.
Get rid of 2 and have 4. So we picked up 2.
Yeah.
But we'll look at that. And again, we're going to work very closely with Steve and staff and trying to make that work. So it's something that he has a vision and we want to try to achieve what he's thinking, at the same time achieving what the client is, used to building and what meets what they think is going to sell for them. So we'll work with them. We're only talking about 10 units.
Well, I just noticed that yard was cut off, and I
Yeah.
just wanted to, make it.
The important thing here is this is going to be rear loaded.
Mhm.
Everything else is going to be more traditional, front loaded. But that meets this neighborhood. I mean, all these houses down here that you're not seeing, they're all front loaded. We're going to create this buffer so that we don't have these people going right to their rear line. We're going to
Right.
create open space. So there's that buffer. We're going to plan it. We got a walking trail all the way around the property. It dumps out back here, and then here they'll have sidewalks where they can walk. There's a dog park. There's a tot lot. There's this greenway that we want to create. That's something that's kind of new, where houses are not fronting on a public road. They're fronting on a greenway. That's, even Greenwich, which has the alleys in the back, they all front on a public road. Nobody has this greenway thing. It's something really new, we think. And I think it's something that we're going to find we got to work with the fire department on, because their concern is going to be, well, how do I get to the front of the house to, that's going to be things that we got to work out. We understand the issues, and, our developer is willing to tackle them and try to work all that out. And when I say it's new to Hagerstown. This kind of product, neo-traditional, they are doing it in more expensive areas, and we're going to try it here.
Now, the only thing that I was concerned about also, are those properties going to be fenced in any way?
We haven't gotten that far. That's a good question. I saw a project that they were looking at in Frederick. It was something like this, wasn't nearly as big, but they wanted to go back to that Mayberry RFD where they were doing the little white picket fence all the way along the front. And then they were fronting on a greenway, and it looked very attractive, but our client hasn't committed that. I don't think he really wants to do fence. They like more of the open space, but I saw the kind of product you're looking at, and I kind of liked it, but
Well, the only thing I was concerned with was, just like you said, the fire department, if they've got fencing in there, that's an obstacle.
exactly. Yep.
Even if it's a small picket fence, they still got to get over.
Yep. And our client did say that they weren't excited about trying to do fences, there. I'm sorry.
We have been looping in the fire chief to all of our discussions on this, all of our planning. He is comfortable with it. He even went with us on the field trip up to Mechanicsburg to view one of the model developments that we're looking at to adjust our ordinances to emulate somewhat. So we're comfortable with the fire department. I mean, it's going to be basically some detail work is really the only remaining issue with that.
If he's satisfied with it, then I'm
Well,
satisfied.
And again, we're being asked to give our blessing for the engineering to begin following a concept that we see here. We're not getting into too many details on this.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible when they design this thing, they might even pick up a lot or two here and there, and there's long runs by the time they actually do surveying and come in with the lot widths that they're desiring here and there. They might pick up a unit here or there. They might come in with more than 368.
That's not really what we're talking about. We're asking to approve this concept in a general sense.
Yeah.
And that general sense is specifically this: a neo-traditional, something new in this area, and everything else being more traditional with 4 access points. That is the main point. What we don't want to do is start on this and then find out that something changed, an ordinance changed, and now we want neo-traditional everywhere. That's a huge shift. I can't start engineering next month on this and then absorb a change like that. So it's basically, yes, we like it. We like the layout, make it work, something very functionally similar to this, and we're good. I feel comfortable with staff on this. I just want the commission, to give us that nod that, yep, we understand.
And
All right,
since-
let me
since
poll.
Real quick.
Let me poll the commission. You got something important to say? Go ahead. Okay. That's what we're here to do. The director does.
Yeah, can I make one comment? We keep referring to this as the brown part is the only neo-traditional. I would say the whole thing has these neo-traditional elements because it's very interconnected and it's not a soup of cul-de-sacs.
Well put, well put. That was one of the things that you probably just took the wind out of Mr. Wright's sails because that's one of his comments from last Wednesday. But that is well put too. You could say the whole thing is neo-traditional and that it's all interconnected.
So again, what I'm trying to do is get input from the commission members. Anybody have any input?
No,
Go ahead.
This is Judy. I'm very comfortable with this.
What, who's that?
I thought you were polling it. This is Judy.
I
I'm comfortable
am,
with it.
and please go ahead.
I'm comfortable with it.
Okay, I got that.
Doug, I think it's very nice.
Thank you.
This is Chris. I'm excited to see this and I agree with staff's comments about those couple of houses.
All righty. Ron?
Other than the comment I made about the houses that were crowded there, I'm comfortable with it also.
Right.
Yeah.
But out of 368 houses,
I'm not gonna worry about 2 houses.
good.
Give me a good deal on those. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I hope that you got that reading and
I feel great about it.
proceeding.
Thank you. It's, it's a pleasure to be able to come to a commission that can act this fast. I mean, we met last Wednesday and this Wednesday we're in front of you. So I greatly appreciate how quickly staff in this commission works in trying to work with developers in the city of Hagerstown. So I thank you immensely.
We're glad you're coming into the city with this also. Thank you. Alrighty, moving on, we have some planning commission business. Oh, and I guess I need to announce that. That is, we need to make a recommendation, if we so desire, to the mayor and council for a local conversion district overlay for the property at 4 Cypress Street.
Yeah, so this was the Eklund family application for 4 Cypress, and it's just to expand the commercial uses. And we did strike catering kitchens from that list at Doug's request. And then the input we had from Edward and Brenda Little at 8 Cypress was regarding the traffic and the street parking. So I think the parking lot would help out with that. And then they also had concerns about the littering, which they said they were going to relay to Dr. Eklund. And that was the only input we received.
Any thoughts of the commission?
I heard the comment too from one of the people that came and testified and was worried about the parking. My sense of it is that I appreciate their concerns, but I think this will improve it, not make it worse. So I don't think that's a problem for this project at all.
And the proposed parking lot is part of the rezoning. So they'd have
Right.
to build it.
Ron, you were getting ready to say something?
I think putting the parking lot in is going to rectify some of the concerns of the other neighbors about parking. And hopefully the littering also.
And you'll see a site plan for the development. So.
Okay. Anything else? Then I think I'd like to ask someone to make a motion to make this recommendation to the mayor and council.
So move.
Second,
Jimmy, you're getting ready to say something?
I think Chris beat me to it.
Okay, all righty. Okay, then the motion is to recommend the mayor and council approval of this local conversion district overlay for this property. We ready to vote?
Yep.
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? That passes unanimously. then I believe we're at the adjournments.
I just have one piece of information for y'all to share real quick, is we are getting word. Better? We're getting word, we have a site plan in for a very large development. I'm not going to give a specific location, but just FYI. And we're finding that they are needing to use the fee in lieu contribution process to the point where it would be providing the city several $100,000 of fee in lieu. Problem is we're starting to run out of places to plant in parks and street trees. So I just want to let you know that this is coming up, and we are actually looking at creative ways of spending that money in accordance with state law outside of the box that we have dealt with up to this point. Not at liberty to get into details about it, but I just wanted to kind of get your heads up, give you a little bit thinking about it. It really doesn't change in general your approval process as far as whether or not you're going to allow somebody to use fee in lieu for a particular development, but we may be seeing some changes in the near future as far as how we actually spend that money. But whatever we do will be in accordance with state law.
Now, what we're doing now is we're taking that fee and planting trees somewhere else. Is that correct?
We're planting them on city-owned property, mostly parks and in street rights of way of street trees.
So when we run out of places to spend the money, then we would be running out of the opportunity or to do the fee in lieu.
Yeah, and actually that's one of the reasons why in this particular project, we're looking at alternate ways of complying, because Rodney pretty much told me that if we had to figure out a way to spend $300,000 at one time, it would probably use up every street tree and planting in a park opportunity this city has remaining. So the thought is when this one comes in, that we should do something as an alternative way of complying, leaving the remaining street trees and the remaining park areas for smaller developments that will come in and may need to do fee in lieu over the next several years. In other words, stretching out the availability of that by directing this massive amount into an alternative compliance mode. And we'll have details for you later, but it literally just came up today.
We have to
So
run it up the city flag.
We don't want to give you too much in the way of detail before our higher ups.
So in essence, what we're really saying is we need to spread out the opportunity for free in lieu of,
I don't think we
so
need
that
to-
instead of giving it all to one big,
Yes,
to a small group.
yes.
Okay.
Haven't we in the past allowed plantings in the mountains or some private property elsewhere?
Yeah.
Yes,
Outside the city?
that's one of the options that we're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, can we talk with the county staff and say, you know, is there anything that you want help with trees?
And that's an idea. We got a couple of different options percolating, some of which are more beneficial and less beneficial to the city specifically.
I mean, the closer to the city limits that we can plant them, the better off. But just as long as they're planted somewhere
Right,
is also positive.
correct.
Okay.
Steve, this is Chris. Is it possible to create additional parkland?
It means in the short term, yes, or the short answer is yes, because fee in lieu money can be used to purchase land. But it has to be forest or be forested, and which means it would become basically a glorified open space. We'd have to be careful how we would do that, because you can't use it just to create a park that might have like a ball diamond, because a ball diamond is not forest.
Right.
The fee has to go toward creating the certain amount of square footage of forest that the approval of the plan dictated.
I'm thinking about, like, the closer you get to the city center, some of those neighborhoods don't have any green at all. And, and some of those properties are in rough shape. So, if it's possible to do that.
There's, like I said, there's going to be numerous options that we're going to be looking at, and some of them will carry on beyond this particular project. But right now, we're trying to figure out how to get this watermelon through the python, basically, as far as this particular big ask. So,
Anything else for the good? We're adjourned.
Right.
Thank you.
See you next time.